In South Korea, the term chel refers to influential family-owned conglomerates that wield significant economic and societal power. Their dominance came into sharp focus following a tragic ferry disaster. An emergency dispatcher received a distress call from a child aboard a ferry heading to Jeju Island, which was carrying 476 passengers, primarily school children and their teachers. The dispatcher asked why no adult had called for help if the ferry was sinking and requested to speak with the captain. As the ferry began to tilt, some children mistook the danger for excitement, similar to a theme park ride, but panic soon ensued when the severity of the situation became clear. The overloaded 6,800-ton vessel eventually sank, resulting in the deaths of 300 passengers, including the boy who made the call. The nation was left reeling, questioning how such a catastrophe could occur. Initially, blame was placed on the crew for negligence and cowardice, as the captain instructed passengers to remain in their cabins while he and other crew members fled. The South Korean president compared their actions to murder, and the captain was sentenced to life in prison. The Korean Coast Guard was also criticized for their slow and poorly executed rescue efforts. Further investigations revealed the ferry had been illegally modified to carry more cargo, exceeding its weight limit by over double, to maximize profits. Public outrage grew as it became clear that greed had been prioritized over safety. This tragedy spotlighted the lack of accountability among South Korea's chaebols, vast family-owned business empires like Samsung, SK, LG, and Hyundai, which dominate the economy. Despite their critical role in South Korea's industrialization and the so-called miracle on the Han River, chaebols have faced criticism for scandals such as bribery, embezzlement, labor violations, and health crises. Public dissatisfaction intensified following high-profile incidents, such as the nut rage scandal involving Korean Air's Heather Cho, who abused her authority over a trivial matter. This incident, along with others involving chaebol leaders, fueled anger over their perceived arrogance and lack of accountability. While chaebols have undoubtedly contributed to South Korea's economic success, their influence and close ties to the government have led to growing calls for reform. Many South Koreans now demand transparency, accountability, and fairness in a society shaped by the overwhelming power of these conglomerates. The chaebol's influence extends deeply into South Korea's government, even reaching its highest levels. In the 2012 South Korean presidential election, a key debate centered on curbing the power of these influential families. Park Geun-hye became South Korea's first female president, though many feared her tenure would maintain the status quo. Her father, Park Chung-hee, was the military leader who seized power in a 1961 coup and is regarded as the chief architect of the chaebol system. During his rule, Park Geun-hye served as the de facto first lady at just 22 years old, after her mother was assassinated by a North Korean agent. Park Chung-hee is credited by his admirers for spearheading South Korea's economic miracle on the Han River. However, critics remember the oppressive nature of his rule, including the imprisonment of dissidents. One such dissident was Moon Jae-in, a human rights lawyer and key rival of Park Geun-hye in the 2012 election. During her campaign, Park adopted a business-friendly platform, emphasizing reform over punishment. She argued that while chaebols were unruly, they could operate fairly with the right reforms. However, the Seawolf ferry disaster in 2014 overshadowed these discussions. Unlike typical cases of embezzlement or tax evasion, this tragedy involved the loss of hundreds of lives. Faced with national outrage, President Park pledged to bring those responsible to justice. After a thorough investigation of financial records, the Yu family was identified as the owners of the ill-fated ferry. The Yu family was led by an eccentric patriarch, Yu Byung-eun, a reclusive businessman, self-styled pastor, and aspiring artist. Yu was often referred to as the millionaire with no face due to his mysterious public persona. President Park accused Yu and his family of being the root cause of the tragedy and issued arrest warrants for them. This sparked South Korea's largest manhunt in history. The government mobilized the military and nearly 10,000 police officers to search for Yu. The effort included raids on the Evangelical Baptist Church of Korea, a religious sect co-founded by Yu.